The night my parents told me I didn't belong in my own home was the night they unknowingly handed me control. It was supposed to be a normal family dinner. My older brother Daniel had just gotten engaged. My parents were celebrating like they had just won an award. Gold decorations, expensive wine. My mother kept repeating, "My son finally chose someone worthy." Worthy. That word always had weight in our house, and I was never it. I was the quiet daughter, the one who worked remotely, the one who didn't show off, the one who didn't marry rich. Halfway through dinner, my father cleared his throat. "We need to discuss living arrangements." I didn't think much of it, until my mother looked directly at me. "Since Daniel and Sophia will be moving in after the wedding, you'll need to shift to the guest room." I blinked. The guest room. Tiny. No closet. No privacy. I had lived in my bedroom for 26 years. "That's temporary," my mother added casually. "Unless you'd prefer to move out." The table went quiet. Daniel didn't say anything. Sophia tried to look uncomfortable. But I saw it, that small smirk. This wasn't spontaneous. It was planned. "You're serious?" I asked calmly. My father nodded. "It's time you grow up." Grow up? I paid half the utility bills. I handled online investments for my father's business. I renovated the kitchen last year. But suddenly, I was a guest. In my own house. So I smiled. "Okay," I said softly. They looked relieved. They thought I surrendered. But here's what they didn't know. 3 years ago, when my father's business almost collapsed, he needed emergency capital. The bank refused him. Daniel refused him. Guess who didn't? Me. But I didn't give him money as a daughter. I gave it as an investor. Quietly. Legally. Through a holding company under my name. And in exchange, a clause. If he ever defaulted or restructured assets, ownership percentages adjusted. He never read the details. He trusted family. Big mistake. The next morning, I didn't move to the guest room. Instead, I scheduled a meeting with his accountant. By afternoon, I had confirmation. Due to recent refinancing for Daniel's wedding loan, the restructuring clause had triggered. My 30% silent stake became 51%. Majority control. Of the house, of the business. Everything tied together. Legally. I didn't confront them immediately. No. Revenge is better served patient. 2 weeks later, Daniel and Sophia moved their furniture into my bedroom. Without asking. They assumed I accepted my place. That night, I invited everyone to dinner. My treat. They sat at the same table, confident, relaxed. Halfway through dessert, I placed a folder on the table. "What's this?" my father asked. "Updated property documents," I replied calmly. He laughed. "Why would you have those?" "Because," I said softly, "I'm the majority owner now." Silence. My mother frowned. Daniel rolled his eyes. Until my father opened the papers. His hand started shaking. "That's not possible." "It is," I replied. "The restructuring clause activated after your recent loan." Sophia whispered, "What does that mean?" I looked directly at her. "It means the person you tried to push into the guest room owns the master bedroom." Daniel stood up angrily. "You tricked us. You underestimated me." My mother started crying. "This is your family." I tilted my head. "And I was your daughter." Here's the twist they didn't expect. I didn't kick them out. Not immediately. Instead, I offered options. "You can take the guest room," I said gently. "Or, you can move out." The exact words they used on me. The irony was delicious. Daniel exploded. "You wouldn't dare." I slid another document across the table. Sale listing draft. Because technically, I could sell the house without their permission now. That's when panic set in. But here's where it gets darker. While reviewing finances, I discovered something else. Daniel had been secretly using my father's business accounts, taking money, small amounts, for months. Sophia knew they weren't just entitled, they were draining him. Business collapsed. Guess who would absorb the loss as majority stakeholder? Me. Suddenly the dinner conversation made sense. They weren't moving me for space. They were positioning themselves for control. They thought I was passive, invisible, easy. They were wrong. I froze Daniel's access to company accounts the next day. Within hours, he called screaming. "You ruined everything." "No," I replied calmly. "You did." Sophia left him within 3 weeks. Love fades when lifestyle disappears. My parents? They stopped looking at me like a burden. They started looking at me like a threat. But here's the final twist. I never wanted the house. I never cared about the bedroom. What I wanted was respect. So 3 months later, I sold the house. Yes, sold it. Split the legal share according to contracts. And moved into my own penthouse. Alone. Peaceful. Independent. At the final signing meeting, my father looked at me and said quietly, "You could have destroyed us." I looked back calmly. "You already tried. The last time we had dinner together, it wasn't at our house. It was at a restaurant. Neutral ground. And this time, no one told me where I belonged, because they finally understood something. They tried to shrink. Was the one holding the pen all along. And sometimes, a most powerful move is letting them feel exactly what they tried to make you feel. The end.